Deebo Samuel has a new podcast on Bleacher Report, and it debuted today with Brandon Aiyuk. So naturally, of course, both the two were asked about their contract negotiations and everything that went on behind the scenes and how they perceive it. Obviously, Deebo Samuel was the first kind of 49ers wide receiver of this current era to go through a pretty public negotiation. And then, of course, Brandon Aiyuk. I don't think I need to remind you about that. I think we're all actually trying to forget about it. So maybe you won't even like this video because you're like, I'm already over this. We've talked about it so much. But part of this is just, again, it's their new podcast. Wanted to show a clip of it. It's the only clip that I could see right now that is circulating out there. It shows BA and Deebo in their new podcast environment. Figured, hey, take a look. And they also, again, they're talking about it from a different perspective than a media perspective in the sense of, beat reporter type thing. So it's a little bit more laid back. So you might find it interesting. So take a listen to what they had to say right here.
Take us back to the day, Aiyuk, that you signed your contract extension, okay? What ultimately made you want to make it work with the 49ers and stay here long term?
Just being with my people, the people that I know, people that I've been around for the past 4 years, the people that I've got to see have kids, got to see their kids grow up a little bit. They got to see me have kids, see my kids grow up a little bit. So really just sticking with the family,
Yeah, does 49ers, does this feel like home for you?
For sure.
Yeah. I think, again, I think people forget that this is not just a job for you guys and a passion, but it also does become your family. Like, you truly establish a lot of relationships. And how were you feeling during that time, Deebo? Was it tough, maybe weighing the option of potentially not having him with you on the field?
Me personally, like, I kind of had a sense in my head that it was gonna work out, but like I told him early on through, like, before it even started, I said, bro, like, it's gonna be tough times, bro. It's not gonna go as smooth as you wanted to go, cause like I done been through it, and like it's nothing that you can really tell somebody until like
right.
they actually go through it on their own, and that time rough. That time rough for real.
Do you think fans sometimes forget that there's also a business side to football? I think that there's so much back end stuff that the fans don't really know about, that, you see these players, like, I've seen fans get like they feel like they were personally attacked when their favorite player goes somewhere else. And it's like, it's a business. You have to look at different things. Like, did you feel like you had to maybe push aside some of your emotions and enter business mode a little bit, or were your emotions kind of taking over because this is where you wanted to be?
I think it was just a little bit of both. Just finding that fine line. But I think that's part of it. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes football what it is. That's what gives us a bunch of conversation up here. So that's just part of it.
So you yourself have also been through contract conversations, extensions before. Did you offer him any advice? I know you kind of mentioned earlier, but guidance, advice, did you kind of help lead him through the process a little?
I wouldn't say I just kind of told him, like, at the end of the day, it's going to work out, whichever way you wanted to work out. And like, I wasn't going to dig too much into it, because like when I was going through it, I didn't want to be bothered by nobody either.
You're not nosy like me?
Like Trent called, like I wouldn't answer the phone. Like sometimes I feel like I wouldn't want to be bothered by nobody. So I actually kind of knew what it was like. But when I got to see him in the building, move changed, this, that, and the third. I already knew what he was going through. So I was just like, I ain't gonna say too much on it. I'm just kind of let it work out on its own.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, obviously,
said mood change.
For sure, I'm telling you.
He's in there tripping.
Oh no! Did you get grumpy a little?
Man, no mood, but you have all type of moods when you're going through the negotiations. That jump rough.
Oh my God! How do you get through it?
You get through it when it's over.
Just hold your breath and pray for the best.
You get through it when it's over.
I hopped into this one late. I think the premise of this is to kind of be more high level conversations about like culture and fashion and football and the integration of all those different types of things. I was hoping that they would get into a little bit more ball, like more specifics into football, things of that nature. But again, like, I do think it's being presented as more of a mix of culture and football. They did a segment where they were taught rating fashion and things like that. And obviously, I think it's cleats is integrated, and so it's clearly definitely supposed to have a cultural, like pop culture tie-in with fashion and music and things of that nature. But they were more just kind of talking about like those things. They're trying to get into some like funny stories and things of that nature. So it's the first one. So I think I was watching it. I was like, BA is really an introvert, just like me. Um, it's like I felt like he wanted to jump out of his own skin, which I would probably feel the same thing in that same situation. So it's like, I relate to this guy way too much. But it was good. Again, it's a difficult, premise of being in that situation and trying to open up a little bit sometimes. But overall, I thought it was a good start. It was a good jumping point. Definitely think I'm excited to see more teammates going on to the podcast, and seeing who's going to be in that chair weekly, and who's I think over time too, of course, like Deebo's going to open up more, and you know, let more of his personality shine a little bit. I think, I can only imagine. I'm sure it's a difficult environment to be in when you're live streaming like that. But so far, it was a good first episode. I thought the conversation about the contract negotiation stuff was funny. I thought it was Deebo said the thing about he could tell like how the negotiations were going, I think by like what chain Ayuk was wearing, and things of that nature. But again, it just provided a little bit more insight into kind of their mindset of like having to go through this process, and having to navigate the business side of football while still trying to be present in the actual football side of things. And we know football is such a mental game, and it really takes everything inside of you to be present and to be engaged. And I'm sure, like, as they were talking about, like, it's really hard when you're going through it. It's really challenging. It tests you, tests your confidence, it tests your um just how you can handle such a, like, obviously, yeah, they're angling for lots of money, and I get a lot of people don't have sympathy for that aspect of it, because yes, they are paid very well. But I can only imagine what it would be like kind of being at odds with an employer that you want to be there for the long term, you want to be a part of, and they're trying to say, well, we don't think you're worth all this, and all the back and forth. I know we're kind of beyond the the negotiation conversation, but hey, it got brought up. Don't yell at me. I didn't ask the question. So what did you guys think about? I don't know if you guys caught the episode or not. Um, Let me know what you guys think about it. If you did, uh, what do you guys want to see on a show with Deebo Samuel? Ayuk was the first guest, so we'll see. We'll see what happens after that. But let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.